We are going to be taking a look at the Glassman core website here tonight. It might not be nighttime where you are, but this is the new site. And it looks pretty nice, looks pretty slick, and it's easy to control, which is wonderful news. It should be something that you all can take care of on an ongoing basis, although we're happy to help out anytime along the way. So, if you need to log in, you go to glassmancore.com/wp-admin. You have a username and password already, I believe. Once you come in here, you'll see that there's all this dashboard type area of things, and then none of it really matters that much at all. You can ignore it. What you do need to pay attention to is this left side over here. It has everything that we need and a few things that we don't, but we're going to go through them one by one and make sure that you understand the basics of the website. So we have post here, and we are using posts for the blog on this website, and we have a couple of them already up, I guess 3 of them up, and then another one scheduled. You all have already been using that. We are still going to go over the functionality of a post very quickly. Should be something that you all mostly know how to do, but just in case there's someone else that's ever working on this that is not familiar, we'll cover it briefly. So we add a new post, we enter the title right here, and then down in this area here it works like a word processor. And so all the typical functions you would have with Microsoft Word or something of that nature than you have right here. We can type text, and we can modify it in any way that we want. We can make it bold, we can make it so that it's a different color, we can make it so that then we have parts of it that are linked. If you just hover over any of these things, they'll tell you what they do if somehow you don't know how to do it. We can just type in the URL right here, but we can also hit settings and have a few more options so that it can open up in a new tab. You can also search for pages from within the site right here, or posts from within the site. Let's see. We have these different things that include the word energy within them, and so we can say, oh, let's go to the residential page. And then we link to that there. You can make everything centered. We have a few options over here where you can make things into buttons or white text or brown text. And we have headers over here, so you can make things that are preset sizes and font options and so forth. We're going to go ahead and make this H2, make it a little bit bigger. Up at the top here we have several options of things that you can add to the page. If you want to add media, then as the name would imply, you click Add Media. We have all of our images here. That's also how you would add documents or MP3s. You could do videos, but this isn't the best way to load videos. You're better off doing that through YouTube or Vimeo. So we can just throw Angie on there. You can make it so that they're to the left, centered, to the right, or no alignment at all. We're going to center that thing. And if you want to edit the exact size, you can do it over here. There are a couple of preset options, but you can also set it to whatever size you want. You can do captions. We update that, and you're going along, and you're thinking, this is looking beautiful. And so then you think, I'm going to publish, wait, no, I need to preview it first. So then we want to preview it over here, see how it's looking. We can see that is some good looking posting right there. We could publish this right now and it would go viral very shortly, I'm sure. But we notice that up here, oh, we got this big blank spot. So you have a couple of options. You can either make it so that there's no featured image, and you click that. And I don't think it will apply on the preview, actually. Oh, it does. It did apply it on this one. Good. And so then that takes it away. But what you can also do is you can set a featured image that will go up top there. And these featured images will work on the pages or on the post, either one. It works the same on both of them. And so we're going to have a nice, beautiful sunset or sunrise. A little hard to tell. One or the other. And then we click preview. And what do you know? There it is. And now we have this nice looking post. And it just goes right there in the background, no problem. Very easy to do. We have a few other options over here. You can always take these options away or add more in by checking and unchecking these things. And it will move things in and out of your screen here. We have Yoast down here. If you want to put in a focus keyword, you can do that and find out how successful you're being with your SEO efforts on this particular post. A couple other things that really don't matter to you too much at all. You can add tags if you want to, all those sort of things. You can schedule things out, which you already seem to know how to do. You can make it so that something is a draft, or you can make it so that it is published. You can make it visible with a password, or just make it private. All those are options. Once you want to publish it, you click Publish. And we're publishing this right now, but we're not going to keep it up there for long. We just want to make sure that it's clear how this works on the blog. Now that we've published it, then it's there. And it's a part of our series of blogs on this page. You can click into it. Looks like it should. When you're done with one of these, you go back to where all the posts are. You could have done it there too, but we're going to do it here. And you say, I want to throw that to the trash. But if it turns out that you don't really want it there, you can always go to trash and restore it. But we don't want to do that. You can just restore by clicking that. We want to delete it permanently. And so that is now deleted permanently, and we never have to worry about those again. If you find that you have some posts that you want to be in a different order, you can go to reorder, and you can on any of these other things on the left side too that would be reasonable to be doing it for. And then you just click and drag. You can actually do it over here too, directly within this, and then you can just pick it up and down, and it'll make it go in a different order than what it is by date. By default, it's just by date, and that's a good thing. But if you ever have something you need to pin at the top or something, you can do it in that way, or switch things around if they don't quite make sense as they are. If you ever need to add categories for the website for some reason, you can do it here. We have no featured image. That needs to be a part of this. Otherwise, I don't know if you're going to be doing that right now or not. You probably don't have enough categories for your blog for that to make sense. Then we have responsive accordion. Responsive accordion for this site is for satisfaction guaranteed. Let's see. I actually don't remember where that is on here. Our guarantee. How about it's under that? That seems reasonable. Maybe we didn't even end up using it on this site. I bet we didn't even end up using it. Let's see what's inside here. I'll show you how to use it anyway. And if it's there, it's there. And if it's not, it's not. Oh no, it doesn't look like we ended up using it. Okay, so we didn't end up using it, but it's on here anyway, and it's a good thing to have if you ever need to use some, to condense things down into a smaller format. All you have to do is go in and add each one of these, and then it will be in its own little accordion that drops down. I'll show you on another site real quick, since we're on the topic. And so it works like this, and then you can just have a whole bunch of content in a very small amount of space, and that way it's not as overwhelming as it would be if you had all the text visible at one time. To do that, you add new accordions, you enter the text here, you can enter a title here, set a little icon with it if you want to, and then there are a lot of settings over here that you can adjust as well for icons and titles and fonts and colors and all those wonderful things like that. If you have questions on that, you can always ask us, but since it doesn't seem to actually be in use on the website right now, then we're not going to spend very much time on it. We have the media section here, and in the media section then you have all your media. But you don't really need to come here very often. Media can be handled a lot better through the individual tasks that you're doing, like posts or pages or sliders, whatever it is. You can access it directly there through the media center at any time. So media manager at any time. So we don't need to worry about that too much, but you can always come here and look at it if you need to or want to. We have forms here. Forms are gravity forms, and we are using 2 forms on your site right now, requesting an application and contact us, and within them then we have our fields. We'll take a look at them and then we'll show you how to add a new one. We have our fields over here. They are in order. If you want to change the order, you just drag it up and down. If you want to change something specific within there, like we're looking at this here and it's not reasonable to have country within there, and it's really not, so because you probably don't have that many people applying for jobs from overseas. I don't think you do, or this is contacts otherwise, but either way. So we update it, and it's updated. Now, as you're making changes in this, you might think to yourself, oh, I've made some changes, I'm going to preview it. Well, preview, in spite of the name, does not actually give you a preview. It just shows what has already been saved. And so if you haven't saved it, it won't show up. And so until you save it, you can't preview it. And if you can't preview it without saving it, then it's not really a preview, is it? But that's just the way it is. But it's still the best form system that we can use. Easily the best. If you want to add new fields, you just come over here, click on them, drag them over, or you can just click and then they'll go to the bottom if you don't drag. And these things are pretty self-explanatory. Don't be afraid of the advanced fields. They're not advanced on the basis of being difficult for you or needing great skills to use them. They are advanced in the sense that they are doing something more complicated on gravity form side, and then they do something really quite simple. So you can click and drag. We can set this up so that then there is a payment system of some sort on this website, and it's not hard to do, but it takes more steps than what we want to explain right now. Under settings, then we can see that we have a form title and a few other options with input, and we want to make sure we have anti-spam honeypot on. It means you don't get all the spam submissions. confirmation is what happens after a form has been submitted, and we just have a really generic default one there right now. You can change that out though. It works just like a post or a page in the editing functionality within it. And then notifications, again, as the name would imply, they go out to a person on the basis of having their email set up within here. And it's set to admin email right now, but we could set it up to whatever else. It could be set up to something, to whatever emails make sense with your organization. We could configure routing based on what it is that they have answered to some question within here. And we could make it so that then it's going out to the email that was entered within the form. And that would make sense to do if it's something other than the admin. If you want there to be an email go to the customer, the client, whoever it is, then you can make it so that then they would go out to that person as well. Down here we have all fields is what's there by default. You can also select individual things and put them within there. And you can mess around with that. You'll be able to figure it out. If you like the changes you made, you click update and it's updated. But you can also add more than one so that you have one notification for a customer, one notification for the admin, whatever you want it to be. You can add as many as you want to. And once you have these things come in, then you can always go to entries and see what has already happened. And we've had a couple already, which is wonderful. None of the settings over here really need to be changed. Nothing really needs to be added on, although you can if you want to. If you're ever wanting to have these forms be on a page, then you could come into the form itself, and somewhere there's a shortcode, but I don't even know where it is because that's not the reasonable way to do it. What you normally are going to want to do is just click Add Form once you're within a page or something, and then you can choose your options down here if you want the title to be a part of it, if you want the description to be a part of it. Ajax doesn't really apply on the forms that you have, so it doesn't make a difference either way on what you do. And then you can click Preview, and you can see that the form loaded automatically right there on the page, just as you want it to be. And we don't need this, so we're going to close it out. That's what you need for forms. You get to see your views and conversion rates over here, which can be nice too. After forms, we have pages, and these are for all the pages on the website except for the home page. Everything else is controlled through here. Well, the blog posts are posted automatically, I suppose, but everything else is controlled through here. And so you come here, you make changes, you can add new pages. It works just like the post that we looked at a moment ago. Blog is the only one that's different here, and so then there's nothing to change within it. But everything else, then you come in here and you see we want to know about partnership. And we have the words here on the page. And everything's there as it should be. You make changes, you update it, everything's good. You can always add new pages. Pretty much what we've done before. Right now we have everything set at no featured image on the pages. You can add images to go at the top though, so that then they are like on the post. They can look just like the way that these ones do, where it's up above at the top. And you scroll down like that. You can set categories for pages as well. We use the no featured image to make sure that then there's not a problem with there being a big white gaping hole at the top. And you can do anything else you want to with categories on those as well. We don't have comments enabled right now, and if you want to enable them directly through this, you can at some point, or you might want to integrate something else like Disqus or Facebook comments. Those are easy enough things for you all to be able to do if you follow some online instructions, but we're also happy to help out if you need some help with that. We have testimonials here, and we have 4 testimonials here right now. And they are pretty easy to edit. You just enter in the text like you would want to any other time. You could do additional things within it. I don't know what it's going to do if you start to get anything too weird going on, like inserting a slideshow inside of a testimonial. It might work, but it might not. I'm really not sure. So you could try it out and see. But basically you want to put text in that spot right there. Down here we have a rotator that is for the home page. We only have one, and it's called Testimonials, so you want to make sure that box is checked or it won't show up. You have a star rating down here, and then you can put it whatever you want. I don't think these testimonials technically had stars associated with them, but they seemed like 5-star type reviews, so we put that on there. And down here we have the author information, and you put on the first line, you put the name of the people or person, and on the second line, where they're from. And it's set up to then just do that automatically on that basis. We're not using images on there right now. If you do that, then it might look okay or it might not, because we didn't set it up that way because we didn't have any images. Once you're ready, you click Publish or Update in this case, and then the changes or the new one is live. If you want to make changes to the rotator, you can. You can go within it, and then there's some options like how long you want it to take between each testimonial, what kind of transition, layout a little bit you can change. I don't think there's anything in the settings that's really too relevant. Nope, nothing that really is too important to you. And those testimonials show up on the home page is the only place right now, I think. I guess they're in here too. So they'll automatically show up into both of them? Yeah, they'll show up into both of them. Same one in both places, just a little bit different formatting on them. Then we have our home page areas, and as the name would imply, these are areas on the home pages. On the home page, rather, sorry. And so you'll notice that then we have all these different areas on here, and they all appear over here. And so if we want to make a change to geothermal, for instance, we click Edit. And these function like posts, but there's a little bit of extra functionality built in, a little bit of extra in the way of options too. So you put your title up here, that doesn't show up automatically, that's just for your reference. Within here, the best way to approach this, the easiest way to approach this, is to make it so that you have the header, see like this here, so we go with header 1. This is a different slot, a different section, but it's the same concept on both of them. You have the main piece of content, and you go with the button down underneath it. Now you can do it however you want. You can put whatever you want in here, but that's a safe way to go. It means that you're going to be able to have a design that looks pretty decent when you do that every time. And that's mainly what we're doing on here. You can see that these are the same concept between the two of them, right? Now up here you'll notice that these have a left and a right side to them, and so it's a little different. We'll take a look at those real quick. And we have that here. And so we just have the header still, the content, and the read more part of it. But you'll notice that it shows up in the left. Well, that's down here and under all these other options. You set a featured image here, and you can even set a background color if you want to with it to make it so that there's a color overlaying it. We don't need to have padding on this one. It's set up automatically for the left-right things we're going to look at here in a moment. You have a few other options here. You just make it left-right, and that's what it's going to do. It'll make it on the left or the right, and it automatically alternates between being on the left or being on the right for the text and for the image as well. But if you're creating a new one, it's very easy to do. We're going to create one and publish it, and it'll only be there for a moment. And so we can have our test material, and we'll center that up, and we'll have some content in the middle for you to see, and then underneath it we can put in a little button. We select it and we say we want this to go to google.com. We have this format over here, and you can turn it into a button. Otherwise it'll just be a link, and that's okay, but if you want to have the special formatting, then you click that there. If we publish it right now, it's not going to look too great. We need to come down here, and we can make a background image if we want to. We don't have to. We can just do a color instead, and that's fine. In this case, we're going to do a background image, and we'll get some lightning on there. And then we're going to have a color going on top of it. And so then we think we want to make this a little more solid so it's not quite as busy feeling in the background. And we'll do some brownish stuff on top of it. Color transparency here. 0 means it's totally transparent. 1 means that it is completely that color and you can't even see the photo at all. We're going to put it somewhere in the middle. You can always just experiment with these things and see what looks right to you. Set up padding. In this case, we're going to go for it. If you don't have any padding, then what you have is your content will go all the way to the edge. Not just the box itself, but these words will go all the way to the edge, so that Glassman is right over here. And we don't want that for this. The time when you would want that is with something like a video or a slideshow like up here, something like that. Then you might want it to go all the way to the edge. You can make it extra tall, and we're going to do that. And we're going to make it extra narrow too. We're not going to make it extra short because we already made it extra tall, and that's a conflict of interest, you know. Horizontal background, vertical background, you can adjust those a little bit. They make a difference, especially on mobile devices for the horizontal and everywhere for vertical. But they don't make a huge difference. You can only adjust it a little. But it's something that can be helpful still. And it explains exactly how that works down here. We're not making this a left-right product pod. We're just making it a full-width thing on here. By default, you'll notice that this goes up to the... Oh, well, it normally goes to the top. This one just shot in the middle. You might ask me why, and I have no idea why. But that doesn't really matter, because what we're doing right now is we're going to show how it's easy enough just to move it around wherever you want it to be. And so then we have this test here, and we say we want this to go clear down here. And then we load it up, and then there it is down there. This text is gray, you might notice that. You want to make it white. Remember we did this before. You can just select things. You can even select that button, and it will do special things for the button too. And so we make everything white, and then we think, you know what, I don't want that picture to stay in place in the background. Or I don't want that to move along with the background. I want that to stay in place. Whatever. You'll see. I'm not using my words well. There we go. And see now how that stays in place in the background, and then the text just moves above it. And it's easy to make it look good. It's not hard. We didn't put in any effort, and it doesn't look bad even right now. We're going to move it to the trash, just like anything else. Then you can move things to the trash. Go to the trash, we delete it permanently, and it is deleted permanently. Except for we do back things up, so we do have that as an option. And so we could get many things back for you depending on how long it's been up. Now we're going to take a look at staff members. If you need to make changes to staff members, then you go to staff members. You show up on this page called Our Team. And you can change individual people here. You go in, you click Edit, and then we've got the name, position, bio, email, phone if you want to add those, a photo. You can add some additional photos to the bottom if you want to have them being carefree at a company picnic or something of that nature. And then they will show up here automatically. If you want to add new people, you click Add New and fill in that same kind of information. And just like the other one, then you can reorder by clicking and dragging these things from here or on this thing over here as well. And you just move them around to wherever you need them to be. We have Genesis, and you don't really need to mess with the Genesis settings ever. You don't need to mess with themes or customize. We have widgets here, and I think on this site right now, we have that slider set up to be showing up through widgets. We'll actually change that and move it over to homepage areas. It can work either way. But then we have our pods list here. And when it says pods here, that has to be there. That's what makes everything show up on the home page. All these things, then they come from that, and they're called pods. And then they come from this home page areas thing over here. And in the bottom, we've got a map. And I'm not using subfooters. Simple social icons. We only have the Facebook one right now because we had a couple others there, but then they weren't going to live accounts. So if there's something else that you need to add, it's easy enough to add. We already have the colors set up in here, and then all you have to do is just add in the URL and it will automatically show up down there. Have a custom menu, that's what it's called. It's not really all that customized, just means that we're inserting a menu down here, and it's these right here. 3, 4, nothing there, nothing in after entry, but after entry is a good place to put any sort of comments plugin that you need to have. That's all we have on widgets on this side, not too much. You can add these other ones if you want to. Mess around with them, see what works, and that's fine. Give it a try. If it works well, great. If it doesn't, well, that's okay too. Now we have menus. And under menus, we have these here. If you want to add one of your pages, then you can click it and click Add. And then it shows up over here. You can drag it to where you want it to be. These are submenus if they're over to the right a little. And if they're flush with the left, then they are the main menu items. Easy enough to move these things around. You can do pages, posts, testimonials. You can put staff member links on there, categories. You can do custom links and then just link to anything you want in all of the internet. It's a pretty powerful thing. And you can click Save Menu when you're done, and it becomes live. It won't become live until you hit Save Menu. Don't need to mess with the rest of these things. If you want to add new plugins, give it a go, see what happens. Or you can call us or text us or email us first, and we can give you some advice on what we think might work well for what you're trying to accomplish. We have users here. We're going to leave that. We don't need it. We have users here. You can add new people by clicking Add New. And then you enter in the information that's required. The only thing I really want you to take note of here is the password. It's long and crazy. That would be wonderful to use because you'll see that it is a strong password. But you don't have to use the strong one. You want to have something that's good, though. If you say password and it's very weak, that means you're putting your website at risk, and it's not worth it to put your website at risk on the basis of having a simple password. Pick out something more complicated. Okay? And it doesn't have to be a strong, but at least get it up to medium, please. If it turns out that you have weak passwords and that causes your website to be hacked, you'll feel bad, and it does happen. And so it's worth it. Keep track of your passwords in a good way, make sure they're secure. It is a good step, and we protect your website in other ways, and we try to make sure that it's safe, but having a good password is always going to be an important part of that process. There aren't any tools, under tools actually, right now. We have some general settings. You can look through these. Most of these aren't too important to what you're doing. I don't think any of these things are really things that you need to know more about right now. SEO, you can explore this some. There's some settings you can adjust if you'd like to. We have feed them, and this is what makes it so that on the home page we have the latest news pop up here. Probably need to shrink this down just a little. That's a little big, isn't it? And then we really don't need to change much of anything inside of here. Nope, I guess we don't need to change anything in the settings. We will go back though and look real quickly at how that works. You can have a short code. I guess let's go look at the one that's already created. There's a short code, and I don't even think that within here that you can find it directly, but you can go to their website and find out more if you need to. And then here we go. So we have the latest news there, and then you always start off with this, FTS Facebook, and then we have the ID, which is the ID for your Facebook page. And then we get settings like how many posts do we want, how many do we want on each page, and there are a lot of other settings you could change by inserting more things in the short code, but it just works as it is right now. If you have more questions about that, let us know, and I'll be glad to give some more advice on how to use that if you need to make additional changes or make it more specific in what it's pulling or something of that nature. We have Slider Revolution down here, and this controls the slideshow on the home page. This is what shows up top here. If you want to edit it, you click the little pencil guy here, and we have 3 on here right now. And we have these different components. You can edit them, double click. You can change out the words that are inside of there. You can move things around as you please. This is a responsive slideshow, and so it means that we have these different levels that we look at: desktop, laptop, tablet, mobile, and then whatever you change on a smaller size does not impact the larger sizes. And so if I want to make it so that this is a tiny little thing on mobile, then it's tiny here, but I go back to tablet and it's just as it was. That means that we can change things on each level to make sense on that screen size. And you see these little blue dashed lines, that means that's where you're trying to get your content inside of, and that's what will definitely show up on that size. We have our little timeline down here of when things come in, and then you set animations for each part of it up here. And so you can select your different animations, do whatever feels good to you. Get the timing set up however you think it should be, the order you want it to be. If you ever are questioning whether it's working well or not, you can click preview and see what's going on. You can see, yeah, it's a little crazy right now. We probably failed in some way, right? And I'm sure we did, but we're just messing around right now. So you look at the preview, see what's going on. Once it's good, you click save. Let's see, a couple more things. Actions, that's how you make links. So you select the element that you want. With actions, then you can set up the URL up here and make it so that when someone clicks it, then one of these things over here happens. So many other things you can do with this. Make the background move. You can make it have parallax, although we don't have that set up right now. We have filters we can put over the images so that it changes the coloring on them. All these other things. SEO settings, a lot to look through. Something we'll let you mainly look through on your own and figure out, but if you have specific questions, we're happy to help out. Once you're ready, you click save. A few other changes you can make here in slider settings. They apply only to this particular slideshow, and again, you can look through those for the most part. With the layout, you can make it so that things spin. You can make it so that then there's a progress bar. You can have navigation arrows if you think that's helpful for what you're doing, and we want to set that as smart actually, and it's not set as smart right now. And then that's about all you want on this. A couple more things over here, really just one more thing. We have WP Google Map. WP Google Map, then you go to this and there's nothing useful. But if you want to add a location, then you do it over here. This is not a map itself. This is the locations that will show up on the maps. You type in the name of the place and then an address. And we'll go for a random place in New York by 5 Star Pharmacy. You can make it do different things down here. Once you have that, you click save and you have your location. If you need to add a map or add a location to map, you go here, and so then you can add a new map here, or if you just want to add a new location to this map that already exists, you go here and you choose which ones go on there, and then it will recenter itself automatically to make sure it includes both of those, and unless you shift that here and make it so that it doesn't, which is your prerogative. Once you're done, you click Save Map, and then it will show up as that on the page. If it's a map that already exists, like this one down here, then it would just show up there automatically. If you need to implement this somewhere else, then you go to Manage Maps, and you'll see that there are shortcodes. You just copy that, paste it into the page, and it will show up. And it's really that simple. So that's all the basics of this. If you have other more specific questions, let us know, and we will help you out. We're always there to be able to help out. We're not able to offer, without additional charges anyway, we're not able to offer just ongoing work of every kind, but we're happy to provide assistance with absolutely anything that you ever need. So give us a call, text, email. We'll do our best to be able to help you out, and we will set you up for success.